Welcome back to the channel. I hope you all are having a great day. Um, so first things first, let's take a moment. Let's subscribe to the channel. Let's like the video content. What that does is it pushes videos to the top of the YouTube algorithm, right? That's why it's so important to do that. Especially in the Zen community, we want to get out more Zen content. The more Zen videos pop up on people's radars, the bigger the community can grow. So very important to like the video, subscribe to the channel, right? Uh, so we got that out of the way. Let's get into today's video. And today's video is going to talk about Xen Crypto, this new idea going around, or what's getting popular in the Xen community is the idea of a first layer solution for Xen. Xen having its own blockchain, which makes sense, right? Because in one of Jack Levin's most recent interviews, uh, uh, there was a lot of conversation about Zen as far as what's the use case. Why would somebody buy Zen, especially it being a free cryptocurrency? And blockchains are always because going to be your first. If a cryptocurrency has a blockchain, that's always going to be one of the first greatest use cases. Simply because what you're doing is now you're allowing for your own trustless ecosystem to exist. Um, if it's that, and it depends on its governance model, but with many, that's the idea that they exist in their own ecosystem where they can't be tampered with, where they can create immutable contracts. In many cases now, with the use being to reduce transaction fees, which prevents a lot of people from using cryptocurrency as one of its more premier uses, right? And that's to distribute value. But if it costs too much, if it's costing you more to deliver the value than the value itself, then it becomes an obsolete notion, right? So let's talk a little bit about uh, Zen, this idea going around that my assumption is it's going to happen, and it's going to give Zen obviously more value, right? And it's going to solve that fee problem that I've had with Ethereum and Zen, so much to the point I didn't want Zen to even be on Ethereum. But in this layer one solution, now they're being entertained ideas about, excuse me, guys, for that disturbance. Um, but what is done is present solutions for that. Let's talk a little bit about how that's going to work exactly, right? Like, how exactly is the idea of the Zen first layer solution going to solve this problem with Zen, this multi-chain cryptocurrency, right? Because what do you do with all these Zen's tokens existing on other blockchains? So Jack Levin got into it a little bit on his latest stream, and he talked about how the variations in the value of Zen, how you could actually end up with percentages of how much Zen you own on a particular network being reduced or increased based on where your Zen is. For instance, if it's on Ethereum, what you'd have on Ethereum is a higher value Zen, which means you get more of the Zen cryptocurrencies on the first layer solution, right? So there isn't a roadmap for Zen as a first layer solution, but my assumption is it's the next best move, right? Um, and I think that's a good way to approach it. Then there could be a less barrier of entry for new people coming in, and they wouldn't have that issue or that problem of these high fee structures, which is going to keep a lot of people from participating. Right? Again, it doesn't make a lot of sense if your fees are so high to the roof. It stops the utility of the currency itself. So just taking a moment here, how we consume Zen information, right, is now basically under the domain of large social media sites, right, that can remove content anytime they like. Uh, the Twitters, as it were, the YouTubes, right? They have the right. It is a private enterprise. They can do as they like. And so we're encouraging with the Bitcoin NYK, the Zen community, to now begin to post a lot of Zen questions, comments, and videos on Bitcoin NYK. It's absolutely free, and you actually earn the Zen cryptocurrency doing so, right? So you can earn the Zen cryptocurrency doing so, and you don't have the issue of being taken down or removed by social media behemoths that can do so at any whim, at any moment's notice. Um, so that's all very interesting details, right? So we encourage you to use Bitcoin MYK. It has a little native token on it called Bitcoin MYK. Very similar to Zen. It predates Zen by many years. It is a free cryptocurrency. And I'm going to get into this little disclaimer that in the future, I'm only going to talk about free cryptocurrencies, that I am done speaking about any cryptocurrency that takes money from people, that raises money, such as what we got with Pulse and Hex. And well, I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a little bit about, why I'm not going to even do that anymore, right? That is the problems that come along with that. But as long as it's a free project, like what we get with Bitcoin NYK here, which is encouraging the Zen community to put their Zen content here. As you consume the content, you can earn the Zen cryptocurrency free. You can trade the native token in for Zen and so on. We're going to be going in that direction. Let's talk a little bit about what happened in Jack Levin's latest stream. And what it means with many new projects with the post community with Hex and so on. All right, so today I was watching a stream from a YouTube content creator going by the name of the Hexologist. Guys, again, I apologize for the interruptions. I forgot to turn off my interruptions, but hopefully I can get through the video without any more. Hexologist, many of y'all probably know this YouTuber. I watched a stream with him today. I hadn't watched one in a long time, probably since like he first started streaming. He doesn't seem to have a great deal of followers, right? But he does a lot of Hex videos. So the Hexologist. Well, first let me roll it back a little bit and talk about some comments I got in my last video, and that was or some videos prior in relation to the SEC, and that discussed where people were saying it was all FUD about the SEC in their examination of Hex. And as we receive information online, as putting this content out, right? People are encouraged to do their own research. We put the information out as we get it. We don't know if all this information is true or false. It is, we believe, up to the viewer to determine these things, to do the research. We put them out as the information is out there. That that's what's going around. But as far as if all information can be true, much like any media sources that put out content, not everything they put out they can know 100% is true. And so we were always very careful about what we said about posting the SEC. But And watching the hexologist video today, for some reason I just watched it. I think because he was talking about new updates with PulseChain. He talked about how he had been contacted by the SEC and that they were determining various sources of private information from him, such as bank accounts, tax returns, and so on. This was from the SEC. And this is to kind of, I think, help people understand the serious nature of this. That many people who thought that that was FUD, that it is now coming out that many of these stories are are actually true, and that and I could tell you right off the bat, federal organizations, once they start looking into things like this, they're gathering information, right? They're building a case, and it's not for nothing. They don't; these people don't like to waste their time. So that's led to a lot of more speculation that is fitting the narrative quite well, that Richard Hart probably as well has been contacted by the SEC, so much to the point, or he's on the radar, so much to the point that it could be more in the release of PulseChain and the limit of when PulseChain could be launched, if it could be launched at all, due to whatever the SEC could potentially be doing. Uh, Also, what we have to understand, and at some point, guys, we do have to use common sense here, and how the SEC probably would look at something like PulseChain, and that is these very stringent regulations against raising capital, right? How they're presented from the SEC through Regulation D and so on, is that if you try to skirt around those regulations and say something like, oh, we're not really raising oranges, we're raising apples, right? Using uh, uh, words like sacrifice, right? And people just giving you millions of dollars that they just want to sacrifice for nothing, and expecting that to stick with the SEC when the SEC has many precedents how to pursue similar legal case. There's an old expression: there's nothing new under the sun. And although Richard Hart comes off clever to us, to the SEC, you got to keep in mind they've probably been through thousands of people like Richard Hart that have probably they've brought down more likely. And they don't like to waste their time in things they don't think it's worth wasting their time. And so they're contacting people, if they're sending out subpoenas, if that's true. We know for a fact now Hexologist has been contacted by them and is being reviewed by them. That's not good. Uh, we don't have one case in cryptocurrency as of yet where the SEC has looked into a cryptocurrency and that cryptocurrency came out unscathed. Not one single one of one. And so this has led to people looking at the body language of Richard Hart, how he's been behaving over the last several months, as to say that is potentially the case that he's been contacted and being formally, unformally asked to stop operations, or that or that it may end up being a situation where he has to give all the money back if no money has been spent, and any legal ramifications that come with that, especially at a time now in cryptocurrency history where people are being targeted, taken down, and taken out. Probably not looking the best for the post community. I did sacrifice for it like many others, but I put it. I was in on Hex, and so I knew how long these things take under Richard Hart's structuring, and I expected this would take even longer than Hex. Hex took about 2 years, and so I figured this may take twice as long. So for me, it was always that in my mind. Like I never really bought that this would launch early, But with all these things that are going around now, uh, to think that it won't launch at all, I don't think it's too far fetched now. Um, you know, if the project isn't free, and this is what I would say to you all, right? You can do what you want, you do your own research, you can invest where you want. That's up to you. I'm not your financial advisor, although I have worked in that industry. I'm not your financial advisor. I'm not the person who is instructing you on your personal finance, right? Regardless of what my credentials are, it doesn't relate to you. But I will say this, as for me and a content producer, if the project isn't free, and even with Xen, I've made warnings to Xen and the Xen community, get off Ethereum. Ethereum is pretty much a security within itself. Get off Ethereum. I don't use Xen on Ethereum. I only use it on Polygon and Binance at this point. And hopefully we do get this first layer solution where the fees are almost zero, and we don't have that problem. Get out of these cryptocurrencies you spend money on. I believe the legacy of them are going to be 99.9% of them going to go down. I believe this is just my personal opinion. Just my personal opinion. So don't take it as gospel. Don't take it as a fact. But I believe PulseChain and Hex is basically going to go down. And I feel sorry for people who've invested in it. I've invested in it, so you're not alone. But I'm a big boy, and I've put it out of my mind. But my belief is that it is not going to end well for PulseChain and the Hex community. That these people, are on the way out, and that Zen projects like Zen are going to be the only ones I'm looking into. Bitcoin MYK. I think Bitcoin MYK is much better than Zen, because I don't know why Zen keeps messing around with. Well, here's my belief about Zen, since I've been transparent about my beliefs about Hex and PulseChain. Let me be transparent about Xen. I think the only reason Xen's on Ethereum is because the Ethereum gas fees are holding the value up of Xen. Um, that's why many of the Ethereum second layer solutions haven't worked, right? Why these side chains haven't worked, because of the amount of value that goes into Ethereum. And if you spend $100 in gas fees to mint Xen, you're not going to want to sell Xen lower than your gas fees. Now, I don't like that, because there are so many problems with Ethereum that I think it's best we don't use them. I think people waste their money even minting Xen on Ethereum. These are just my personal views, right? You can disagree with that. And I think as long as Xen stays on that rule, they start to function more closer to what we get with projects like PulseChain and Hex. Projects I think now we should, if we haven't stepped away from yet, we should start to now. I don't think it's going to be a good thing for these projects. Again, my apologies for the people who did sacrifice for it, thinking there was something there. I don't think it is. I think it's going to end very badly for that project, right? Again, I would say only deal with the free cryptocurrencies, and don't even buy them. Don't even buy them on the secondary markets until you well understand them. You're in a good financial situation, and you can afford to lose whatever you put out. Or I wouldn't even buy them. I just use them for free. These are just my views, guys, right? For your protection, hopefully. You can do, again, what you want. Some people want to be speculators. Some people want to be risk takers, and that's fine. That's your prerogative. But just know what goes along with that. And, and know when somebody takes billions of dollars from you, that there's a good possibility you may not end up with any of your money, right? Or it may be locked up, like what we're getting with FTX and Luna and Celsius. Then the governments have to come in and have to set up a trust to give you some of your money back, if any, right? But that's all I want to say in these videos, guys. Just think, use your noodles, be smart, using risk-free cryptocurrency, or close to risk-free, like what you get with Xen, and Bitcoin MYK, it's probably smart. Don't sleep on Bitcoin MYK. It's a lot less barrier entry into Bitcoin MYK than Xen. I like Xen, but Xen has some problems. And I just want to be clear and let y'all know about that. But that's all I want to say in this video. Until next time, as always, take care of yourselves and each other.